In the early to mid 90s, fighting games were the dominant genre of the games industry. And it's not hard to see why. It comfortably distills that core desire for violence and aggression into a simple concept of you and another person going one-on-one, mano a mano, beating the everlasting gobstoppers out of each other until one of you emerges victorious. I don't know why everyone in the 90s had this strong desire to fight each other. I guess we were just very angry people back then. Not like nowadays where we're so much more chill and rational. Of course, Street Fighter II was the game that set this trend in motion, with practically every other title trying to emulate its success. And while a few of them did manage to make a name for themselves, most of them unfortunately felt like cheap copies or clones that were clearly not on the same level as Capcom's preeminent slugfest. However, one game managed to stand out from the crowd, with a methodology that felt a little more primal. Oh no, not that one, no, sorry. That was my poor choice of words there. Let's try this again.
Mortal Kombat!
Debuting in August 1992, Mortal Kombat was an immediate smash hit in arcades, and has since gone on to be one of the biggest fighting game franchises in the world. While maybe not as technically sound as Street Fighter II in terms of gameplay, it was able to set itself apart from its contemporary and others for its presentation. A darkly gothic Far Eastern aesthetic, the use of digitized actors for the character models, and of course its most familial trait,
buckets of blood pouring out of people's heads.
Yes, this series became pretty infamous in the 90s for its liberal use of gore, with every move producing more blood than I think the human body is capable of carrying. This was combined with the series' signature fatalities, ultra-violent finishing moves that are, honestly, very tame compared to today's standards. Still, it was those very fatalities that helped lead to the creation of the ESRB rating system, and a more scrutinized view into how games are sold to the public. So kids, you can thank Mortal Kombat for the reason why your mum won't let you play games like Grand Theft Auto, Carmageddon, or violent deaths while driving a vehicle. Ooh, is that the Game of the Year edition? Of course, its unexpected critical success, perhaps due in part to the controversy surrounding it, caught the attention of Hollywood, which leads us to the reason we are here today, Mortal Kombat's original big screen adaptation. Now, getting the franchise onto the big screen was initially met with resistance. Producer Lawrence Kasanoff approached the game's original developers, Midway Games, with the hopes of creating a cinematic version of their hit series. However, Midway weren't too sure about the film's chances for success, especially considering the reputation that movies based on video games had at the time. Eventually, Kasanoff was able to acquire the rights for the movie, and filming went ahead with a then unknown director, Paul W.S. Anderson. No, not that one. Though that would be an interesting take. He's the one who's gone on to direct other movies based on video games. A lot of them starring his wife, surprisingly. The film premiered in August 1995, 3 years after the original game's release, and despite a mixed reception from the critics, the fans absolutely adored it, earning back 6 times its $20 million budget, making it the highest grossing video game film adaptation at the time. Heck, even that mixed reception from critics was a lot more glowing than other adaptations. But 30 years later, the question has to be asked. Does it still hold up today, or was this a fatality long waiting to happen? It's time to test the might of this cult classic. And yes, I did spell those last 2 words with a K. Okay, one thing that definitely has to be said about this movie, the theme song kicks ass. A techno-electronic dance club track, funny enough called Techno Syndrome, produced by Belgian electronic band The Immortals. And it somehow manages to be the most 90s thing ever, and yet timeless at the same time. Whatever problems people may have about the film itself, no one has anything bad to say about this banger of an anthem. It has this incredibly raw, testosterone-filled energy that you can't help but get pumped to. You could put this over any fight scene, or any fight in general, and it would fit perfectly. After that barrage of awesomeness, the film opens up on a monastery, as our villain, Shang Tsung, played by Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa, does battle with a young monk named Chan. Unfortunately, things don't go well for the latter, as he is slowly beaten to death. And boy, do I mean slowly. Who set this film to run at 15 frames per second?
Your brother's soul is mine.
It turns out that Chan is in fact the brother of one of the main protagonists, Liu Kang, played by Robin Shou, whose apartment is being bathed in a green light for some reason. Is he about to be recruited by Rita as a new evil Green Ranger? When he hears the news about his brother's death, Kang immediately returns home, where he agrees to represent the Order of Light in the upcoming Mortal Kombat tournament, hoping to get revenge on Shang Tsung. But his reasoning doesn't sit well with his fellow monks, nor does it with the Lord of Thunder, Raiden, played by Christopher Lambert.
Spare him, my Lord Raiden. American life has enfeebled his mind. Too much television.
It's that damn MTV, I tell you. He keeps going on about rock and roll and this guy named Cornholio. Despite these objections, Liu Kang says that he will enter the tournament, with or without their consent.
He isn't ready, my lord.
I know, but there's no one else. No, there is another.
Elsewhere, we're introduced to Special Forces operative Sonya Blade, played by Bridget Wilson, who along with her partner Jax, played by Gregory McKinney, is on the hunt for a notorious black market arms dealer named Kano, played by Trevor Goddard. Oh, by the way, you've got a little something on your face there. I don't think it's noticeable. Sonya wants revenge on Kano for killing her previous partner, which explains why she has this constant scowl on her face throughout most of the film. Like she just got told that she couldn't have ice cream before her dinner.
Where's Kano? Where is he?
I know he's hiding the strawberry sauce somewhere. It's all over your face. The other member of our plucky trio is action movie star Johnny Cage, played by Lyndon Ashby. Interestingly enough, he's the only one of the three who's not trying to avenge someone's death. Instead, his problem is that the press is running a smear campaign against him, claiming that he doesn't do his own fight scenes. It doesn't help that his fellow stunt performers look like they were bought off of Temu.
Where do you get these guys?
He's told that participating in the tournament will give him some legit credence to his martial arts skills, so he heads on over to Hong Kong to wait for a ship that will take him the rest of the way. Whilst there, he meets with a guy named Art. You know, Art. That very popular Mortal Kombat character. He's up there with the likes of Liu Kang's brother. Or he will be. Anyway, when Shang Tsung's sick-looking dragon ship arrives, Kang and Cage step on board, closely followed by Sonya, who spots Kano boarding too.
Sonya, don't get on that thing. Hey, Sonya!
Don't make me shake my head and turn into a completely different person in the sequel. Once all three of our heroes are united, they're confronted by Shang Tsung, who introduces them to two other fighters, Sub-Zero and Scorpion, who respectively have ice powers and bad CGI snakes in their hands. Fortunately, Raiden shows up to prevent any pre-tournament scuffles. He explains to the trio the premise of the tournament. Their world, known as Earthrealm, is one of many different connected realms. The Emperor of Shang Tsung's realm, Outworld, wishes to conquer Earthrealm, but in order to do so, his forces must win a sacred tournament called Mortal Kombat, one devised by beings known as the Elder Gods. Outworld has already won 9 tournaments, and if they win the next one, then Earthrealm is theirs for the taking. And apparently these 3 chuckleheads are the only ones who can stop this from happening.
Why are you telling us this? What about the others?
They're all great fighters.
But they're not main characters. Seriously, who's ever heard of a Mortal Kombat character named Art?
The essence of Mortal Kombat is not about death, but life.
Have to disagree with you on that, Raiden. Death is pretty much one of the core concepts of the MK franchise, along with multicolored ninjas and spelling everything with a K.
Sorry.
Our heroes eventually arrive at Shang Tsung's island, and I gotta say, the sets on this movie are really cool, with some great designs that capture a dark mythical image of Far Eastern culture, even if some of the green screen effects are not particularly great. Ooh, looks like Liu Kang is admiring something other than the decor.
Watch her carefully, Reptile. Keep her away from these humans.
Oh hey, I didn't know Gex was in this movie. As night falls, the competitors sit down for a bite to eat. Hello, fellow main characters. Do you mind if I join you at the definitely not going to die table? But before too long, their meal is interrupted by Shang Tsung as he gives a demonstration of Sub-Zero's powers.
Flawless victory.
What are you talking about? There's a flaw right there. The following day, the tournament begins in earnest, as Earthrealm's defenders face off against a series of challenging opponents. Liu Kang takes on this guy in a stick fighting contest, where he emerges victorious, and Shang Tsung takes the soul of the loser.
Your soul is mine.
Ah, a slogan that EA would adopt many years later.
EA Games. Your soul is mine.
Sonya finally gets her one-on-one with Kano, which ends with his head in between her legs as she uses them to snap his neck. Not the worst way to go, I suppose. Although why doesn't Shang Tsung call a fatality here, but he does when he kills Liu Kang's opponent? What the hell's up with that?
Fatality.
Yeah, we frown upon kill stealing here, Shang buddy. Johnny is the lucky one who gets to take on Scorpion.
Get over here!
He said it! He said it!
After outrunning his weird CGI snake thing, he's suddenly teleported to what I assume is the Netherrealm, a hellish looking landscape that could do a bit of vacuuming.
Get down here!
Johnny eventually wins the match by attacking him with a spear and slicing him up with a flaming bladed shield. Now that is a hardcore metal death, but it also brings up something I haven't talked about until now. For a franchise that was thought to be so violent that it spawned a new rating system for video games, it's ironic then that the movie adaptation for it doesn't follow the same tendencies, to the point where it's actually rated PG-13. This means that the film contains a severe lack of blood for the subject matter, probably also explains why Sonya isn't wearing her traditional outfit, and all deaths either occur off-screen or are done in a very safe supernatural manner. Johnny's victory over Scorpion is probably the most violent that the film gets, which is rather worrying since it comes in at the halfway point. In fact, just after this, Liu Kang faces off against the lady from earlier, Princess Kitana, played by Talisa Soto, and all it is just the two of them dancing around for a bit as she tells Liu Kang how to beat his next opponent, Sub-Zero. Also, she's disqualified for talking too much?
You disappoint me.
And how exactly does Liu Kang end up beating this all-powerful cryomantic ninja assassin? He chucks a bucket of water at him while he charges up for a big ice attack, and it turns into a huge icicle that impales him and freezes him all over, without a single drop of blood being spilled. Geez, maybe Raiden was right about this film not being about death.
Sorry.
Shang Tsung decides the combatants have had it a bit too easy so far, as he now sends in the reigning Mortal Kombat champion, Goro. And this thing is amazing. A huge animatronic puppet that reportedly cost $1 million to make and requires up to 16 puppeteers to operate it. This is a technical marvel, although apparently its screen time was severely reduced because the director had a hard time framing the shots for it, and because the operator inside of it could only work for about 2 minutes at a time due to lack of oxygen. Impressive craftsmanship though. With Goro now in the tournament, the combatants begin dropping like fruit flies. But have no fear, because Art is here to save the day. Oh no, wait, he did too.
Flawless victory.
Again, no, there's a flaw right there. Plus he did get in at least one good hit on Goro, so also no. Put some respect on the name of... I want to say Jarek? Apparently the guy's death has really rocked the confidence of the other fighters. I don't know why, to be honest. He was so unmemorable I forgot his name just a few seconds ago. Hell, I remember that one dude from Johnny's stunt team better than... Seriously, what was it? Kai or something? Fortunately, Raiden gives them a pep talk with a few vague words of advice.
Only one thing can defeat you. Your own fear.
That or a giant guy with 4 arms, but I don't think that's likely to happen. Oh, right. Sorry. To protect his friends, Johnny decides to challenge Goro himself. Shang Tsung approves, but adds in the stipulation that he's allowed to challenge any one of them in a final battle afterwards. The fight is set, and Johnny shockingly manages to win by hitting Goro with his signature punch to the groin and then kicking him off of a cliff.
This is where you fall down.
Yeah, that was for... Was it Dan? It was Dan, right? Alright, fine, Roger then. Sonya is then taken hostage by Shang Tsung, as he plans to battle her as per the agreement. And apparently this trained Special Forces operative is incapable of escaping a simple arm hold. It doesn't even look like she was beaten down, overpowered, or held in place by a mystical spell or something. She's just like, damn, an arm hold, my one weakness. Tsung opens up a portal that takes them to Outworld, and Kang and Cage follow after them. Raiden has to stay behind because while Shang Tsung can cheat as much as he wants, the Lord of Thunder has to be a goody two-shoes and follow the rules. Now I can see why the Emperor's side has won the last 9 tournaments. As the two make their way through Outworld, they reunite with Kitana, who explains to them her backstory. It's not really relevant here. And Liu Kang manages to uncover the secret battle with... which apparently was only added in because focus groups were left unimpressed by the film's original fights. In the Emperor's Tower, where Sonya has been tied up and made to look like she's going to be on the cover of a hair metal album, Shang Tsung challenges her to a final battle. When she refuses, Tsung uses this as an excuse to claim that Outworld has won by default. But her friends arrive to tell him, nuh-uh, that's cheating, as tournament rules states that final combat can only happen if the opponent accepts the challenge. Subsequently, Liu Kang issues a challenge to Shang Tsung and he accepts, while Johnny and Katana help free Sonya.
Nice dress.
Yeah, you won't be laughing when she's on the cover of Glam Rock magazine. So it all comes down to this, as Liu Kang comes face to face with Shang Tsung, and they engage in... what's the phrase I'm looking for here? Oh, that's right, the art of fighting. Kang manages to get the best of Tsung in the opening round.
You made me bleed my own blood.
Well, finally, we haven't seen any blood in this Mortal Kombat movie since the very beginning. After summoning a bunch of guys to beat up Kang for a bit, Shang Tsung then tries to trick him by turning into his brother Chan. And it actually almost works, even though he was staring right at him when he changed. You're not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed, are you, Liu? They fight for a bit longer until Kang manages to yeet Tsung off of a platform and is impaled by spikes on the ground.
Flawless victory.
Okay, do any of you actually know what that word means? Flawless. Adjective. Contains no faults or mistakes. And he was giving it to you just as good as you gave to him. You think that your health bar is like this, but it's more like this. And once again, there is a flaw right there. It literally killed him. If anything, this should be a flawed victory. A flawtality. Oh, whatever. Shang Tsung is dead, the souls that he captured are released, and Liu Kang gets to say a proper farewell to Chan. And only Chan, it seems. I guess they didn't really care that much for... Okay, final answer, Voldo. With the day saved, the heroes return to Earthrealm, where they're greeted by Raiden.
I guess you knew it would end this way. Didn't have a clue.
Actually, I placed a bet against you, and now I owe this guy about 30,000, and he won't accept bison dollars for some reason. But their celebration is cut short, as the Emperor of Outworld arrives, deciding, screw the rules, I'ma do what I want.
We pathetic fools. I've come for your souls.
I don't think so.
But that fight is gonna have to wait until the sequel, even though about half of these people won't be showing up for it. The original 1995 Mortal Kombat movie is a flawed film, but one that is incredibly fun to watch. As an adaptation, it was probably one of the more faithful to its source material at the time, even though it has a rather frivolous use of some of the game's terminology, and a shocking lack of the franchise's staple violence and viscera. Unlike the films that came before it, it manages to stay close enough to the aesthetics of its source material, with some wonderfully made set designs and somewhat accurate costumes on some of the characters, and none of it feels like a cheap ploy to draw in fans of the franchise. This feels like a Mortal Kombat movie, and not just a film with a generic premise that was made to look like it. This ain't no Fortnite skin of a movie. It was also able to take the basic premise of a martial arts tournament, a concept that even at the time was seemingly done to death, and create something that was rather cheesy, yet compelling enough to keep viewers around for the full runtime. Although the plot was not exactly perfect. The tournament rules were not that well defined. Matches seem to occur haphazardly, even in places where it doesn't look like anyone is watching. New contenders would enter with no rhyme or reason, and there was no clear definition of what counted as a win, or if the tournament was based on a bracket or point-based system or anything. I know that sounds really pedantic, but in a tournament-based movie, there should at least be some clearly defined rules. It also suffers from a few pacing issues. It only just pushes past the 90-minute mark, but even then it feels a little bit drawn out. I get that the reptile fight was added in to inject a bit more action into the movie, but couldn't you have compensated for that by taking out something else? Like that odd scene of the heroes getting lost in the halls of Shang Tsung's palace. Yeah, Johnny, Katana clearly went down the corridor that is completely covered in webs. My guess is that they wanted to show off the technology they had, and how good they were with it, which honestly isn't that great. The only impressive thing that they had special effects wise was Goro, and for an animatronic that cost about 5% of the film's budget, yeah, it had better be impressive. Other than that, the CGI and green screen effects were probably okay for the time, but haven't really aged that well. What has aged well are the fight scenes. While a few of them suffer from somewhat awkward framing and close-ups, not to mention a severe case of slow motion, maybe that's what's adding to the runtime. The choreography is fantastic, helped in part by Robin Shou, who was able to utilize his past experience as a Hong Kong stuntman. He even went as far as to suggest incorporating the use of wirework, making Mortal Kombat one of the first Hollywood films to do so. Everyone was given plenty of time to train before shooting began, with the exception of Bridget Wilson, who was a last-minute replacement and had just wrapped up filming for Billy Madison the day before she flew out. The person she was replacing? Cameron Diaz. No, seriously. In fact, the alternative casting for this entire movie is completely insane. Sonya could have been played by Diaz, Sharon Stone, or Dina Meyer, Michael Jai White could have played Jax years before he did so in Mortal Kombat Legacy. Jean-Claude Van Damme turns down the role of Johnny Cage, which is doubly ironic since he turned it down to star in the Street Fighter movie, and because the original concept of the Mortal Kombat game had him in mind. And you'll never guess who they wanted to play Raiden originally. Go on, just take a guess. You're wrong. Sean Connery. I am not kidding. They offered the role to Sean Connery, but he turned it down, so they went with his Highlander castmate instead. But I guess in the end there can only be one. And let's not forget the music. Not just Techno Syndrome, but the entire soundtrack. It is hard-hitting, it is fast-paced, it is in your face, it just encapsulates Mortal Kombat perfectly. So much so that Techno Syndrome would pretty much be adopted as the main theme for the entire franchise, being used in advertisements for future projects. While the film may not have been seen as high cinema at the time, its popularity has steadily grown over the years, and the main game series has even taken a few aspects from the movie into its lore, like certain character motivations, the terms of victory for the tournament, and retconning Kano from American to Australian based on the performance of Trevor Goddard, even though he was going for a more Cockney English accent. Put another shrimp on a barbie, governor? Regardless, it's hard not to see how popular and successful this film was and is. It made more money than the previous year's Street Fighter movie did with less going in. It spawned a sequel about 2 years later, an animated tie-in film, 2 different television series, and its influence is still being felt to this day, with some of the cast members reprising their roles as DLC for Mortal Kombat 11. If you're a fan of films with a B-movie vibe and are looking for something with great atmosphere, subpar effects, top-notch brawling, and possibly the best soundtrack ever, I highly recommend this film. And I can guarantee that by the end of it, it will have you screaming, Hi everybody, TeknoBoy here. Thank you so much for watching my review on the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie. Assuming that you're actually watching this, because this has taken a pain to get out. I did actually upload this before with the clips still intact, but YouTube kept on blocking it and just flagging the footage that I've been using. So I tried it with just using still shots and only using clips where absolutely necessary. Hopefully you are seeing this, and hopefully eventually you get to see the original video as it was. But until then, this is about the best I can do, and I can only apologize for that. Please let me know how you think this style went, because maybe it's something I'll have to consider doing in the future. But yeah, really enjoyed watching this movie as I have been before. Just really good, cheesy, old school video game movie kind of stuff. Just really fun to watch, and especially fun to review it. But yeah, I don't think we have much to say here. Just wanted to get a little bit of end slate out here, just complaining about having trouble getting the video up. But yeah, I guess the question I had put in the credits, you might see it coming up now. Who is your favorite Mortal Kombat character, and who's the character you like to main a lot? I always like to play the Sub-Zero, particularly like Kuai Liang version, rather than the Bi-Han one. That's just me. But yeah, Sub-Zero is always my favorite character to play in these games. But yeah, let me know what you think of the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment below, and I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully.